but soon you're gonna see the light of day. Just relax, don't move an inch. I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I feel take away myself. May I feel I like a thief in the night. May I forget out of sight. May I feel take away myself. Take away myself. I have to utilize I breathe. Show the eye a clean pair of heels. I say, yeah. Been there, done that, don't need it again, yeah. I'm not a masochist who won't play your game, to all you move, you have me way to the course.
Greetings, kings and queens. Welcome to another Real Stuff podcast. This is yours Julie Franco, and I will be linking up with Flavius in a few minutes. But today we have a special guest, none other than Mrs. Berthia Parle. She will be joining us. She's the retired GM of Bay Gardens Resort and Spa in Saint Lucia. So if you have to get your favorite drink, whether it's tea, coffee, whatever beverage that you drink this time of the morning, go ahead and get it. If you have to refill, go ahead and refill until we get back with Flavius. So sit and stay, don't go nowhere.
Hi, this is Pam Hall, and I'm inviting you to hang out with Flavius and Franco on the Real Stuff podcast. They're such great company. Walking on sand and holding your hand. Feel like a tourist in my own homeland. In my own homeland. Enjoying the bright, the warm sunlight. Oh my God, what a beautiful sight. In my own homeland.
Yes. We have with us Flavius this morning. Morning, Flavius. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning, listeners. Yeah, as normal, we're starting out with bright sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
We might end up getting some rain. Like that's what's happening every day now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's good.
Yeah, man, the rain is good. And as we get rain, we know some part of this country is getting chilly. And,
that too.
And as it gets chilly, the virus increase. And it's not joking. Yeah, well, it's taking over the Midwest. About 35 states right now are, spiking. And Wisconsin is considered the epicenter. And we have a president running around saying that he's immune.
Well, why don't he make everybody else immune?
Running around that he's immune. And at the same time, I'm saying forcing the governor of the state to reopen. So it's basically official that the state of Florida is once again reopened because they have stepped up. And I mean, it's not going to get no better because I look at the European pattern, like England, for instance, and for this week, they're putting into places new measures. They're going to be more vigilant on the citizens. You know,
No, they're locked down as of next week, you know.
that's what I'm saying. Starting
100%.
starting this weekend, because I saw it this morning. Starting this weekend, they're going to start lockdown. They're going to be more vigilant.
I spoke to somebody yesterday who's in London, and they say
You know?
total lockdown. In fact, what she told me is that Liverpool is already locked down.
By this weekend, by this weekend, everything going to start. They're not giving it a major lockdown because they have the different color code now. They have like three color codes. So they're going into the second one. Yeah. They're going into the second level. And then next week now they will determine if they're going to stay or go extremely. Because it was on the news this morning, on the world news.
No, man, I heard from yesterday.
So I'm telling you, I always watch that pattern. Whatever happens in Britain, I'm on this side of the world. And I'm talking about, when it comes to the virus. So we know election is coming, so this guy wants to get the people them out as much as he can, but him keeping some mass crowd rallies while him challenger doing some car rallies. Much better. Them line up in a playing field and people sit in the car and them hear him talk on the microphone, whatever intercom them have set up or AM system set up, you can listen in the car.
The radio,
Yeah, so I mean, all of this can be done in a better fashion, much easier way. But I think, it kind of, and then on the children's side of schools, some schools have found, students, teachers infected, some closed, clean up and reopen. Everything is just force. It's just force. Need new leadership. Need new leadership.
Okay.
So what's in your cup this morning?
Well, nothing yet. We're gonna put some. I'm thinking about some ginger and fever grass.
Yeah, that good. Because I have ginger, turmeric, lime, a little peppermint.
Okay.
All of that. I made a paste first with the lemon and the turmeric, the ginger.
Okay.
I make a paste first and then I take a teaspoon of it and then I add water to it and make my tea. And the peppermint really good, clean out, clean out your nostril. Right away, I just smell it. It just open up your nostril. So if Mr. Corona in night eye dash, what she name Corona eye, she just run out of that,
I'm inhaling some alcohol, strong alcohol. If it can keep my nostril clean and fresh.
Get the peppermint. If you can get the peppermint, it's good.
Yeah.
It's real good, Give it a good smell and everything. So, yeah. So, today, we have an important guest, Miss Berthia Parle. She'll be joining us this morning. A retired GM from the Bay Gardens Resort and Spa.
Yes.
Yeah.
She called me since morning. She's ready to go.
All right. So, since you're ready to go, let's find.
I told her we'll call her at 25 after.
25 after. That's not bad. So I think you want to go right into your did you know then?
Okay, yes, did you know?
All right.
Okay, for the past 2 days we've been looking at movies made in the Caribbean. These are not Caribbean movies. These are movies from, outside people using our facilities, our beauty to enhance their product. I mean, we can't really go through all of them in one sitting because there are a lot. But this morning, Caribbean major movies that we have made, Caribbean people have made, and in the Caribbean. So we're moving away from the movies by the outside companies and countries that set their stories in the Caribbean or use the Caribbean as a substitute for other places. But today we're going to look at Caribbean movies made in the last 5 years. So we'll ask Alison to do the honors.
Caribbean films to watch. A new database cataloguing Caribbean films and filmmakers was launched during the 10th annual Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival. The website includes a listing of feature-length independent Caribbean fiction, documentary, and experimental feature films from 2000 to the present. We wanted to create an online resource that was easily accessible, well organized, and reflected the visual palette of the Caribbean film movement. This resource will allow filmmakers in the region to more easily collaborate, will give audiences greater ability to access films and filmmakers from the region, and provide the international industry with a one-stop shop for Caribbean film, said the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival Art Director, Melanie Archer, who is coordinating the Caribbean Film Database. So what are some of the more recent Caribbean films likely to be included in the database? Below we profile 10 feature-length Caribbean films from the last 5 years likely for inclusion. The Skin. 2011. The Skin is a modern story filled with Caribbean folklore about Michael and Lisa, Brent Simon, and Aisha Ralph, who are a young married couple on the verge of losing their home. Their luck changes when Michael, while on a photo shoot at the historic Betty's Hope estate, discovers an ancient vase and sells it to an antique dealer, Jeff Stewart. The couple gets little time to celebrate their good fortune before strange things begin to happen. They are introduced to a Jamaican mystic, Carl Bradshaw, who informs them that the ancient relic was not really a blessing but a curse. Chrissy. 2012. An inspirational and uplifting drama about courage, faith, bullying, determination, and the power of the human spirit to achieve despite the odds. A very poor 10-year-old girl, Chrissy Wright, Michaela Harrison, lives on the rough side of town in deplorable conditions with her 2 siblings and their sick, bedridden mother, Sharon Griffith. Living without running water, electricity, and very little to eat, Chrissy becomes a target for teasing and discrimination from her fellow students at Redemption Primary, and almost all the teachers except for her beloved science teacher, Mr. Fenton Peter Boyce. Formidable, Chrissy is determined to push herself out of poverty, overcome the teasing, and rise above it all. Through fate, she meets a new student at her school, Melissa Edgehill, Cara O'Donnell, and thus begins a friendship, the meeting of 2 different worlds, rich and poor, black and white. ELZA, Le Bonheur d'Elsa. 2012. Bernadette, a single mother in Paris, tries to provide her daughters with everything. She is thrilled when her eldest daughter, Elsa, is the first in the family to graduate from college, earning a master's degree summa cum laude. But Elsa breaks her mother's heart by running away to their native Guadeloupe in search of a distant childhood memory, the father she barely remembers. This feature debut by writer and director Mariette Montpierre offers an unusual insider's view of lush island culture, as she captures the passion and contradictions of this family. Home Again. 2012. Marva, Dunstan, and Everton grew up in Canada, the United States, and England, respectively. Now deported home, each quickly discover a very different Jamaica from the idyllic paradise seen in vacation ads or from their vague childhood memories. Every day is a fight for survival in a place where family support, friendships, and shelter are elusive. Danger also surrounds them at every turn in a country that has the 3rd highest murder rate in the world per capita. Then there is the fact that Jamaicans uniformly blame deportees for much of their crime. Home Again follows the lives of 3 individuals that embark on a journey filled with great obstacles, but along the way, they find the most human of emotions, hope. Kingston Paradise. 2012. Directed by Mary Wells, Christopher Johnny Daly stars in a classic story of life, love and how both are hard to come by when you are always fighting for survival and success. Finding himself stuck in the violent ghettos of Kingston, Jamaica, a small-time hustler devises a daring but not-so-clever plan to steal a fancy sports car, right under the owner's nose, after which things rapidly go downhill until he gets to the bottom and begins to realize that he has to change to fulfill his dreams. Keeping Up with the Joneses. The movie, 2013. The Jones family reluctantly become the subjects of reality a show entitled Life and Times in the Caribbean. It requires that a camera crew follow the family around and films their every move. Irving, the patriarch of the family, signs the contract to do the show against Angela's, his wife, wishes. Now, Irving, Angela, Tracy, their 17-year-old daughter, and Nathan, their 10-year-old son, have to coexist while looking good for the cameras amidst awkward moments and embarrassing encounters. Making matters worse, the Jones family are kidnapped, but help is at hand when the brother-in-law and his friends go on a mission to save them. Payday. 2013. Directed by Selwyn Brown, this Barbadian comedy drama, a buddy film, showcases a raw slice of Barbadian community life. Romy, an aspiring mechanic and ladies' man, with his brutally honest best friend Pac, invest their entire salaries in a down payment on a garage. Their goal, to establish a successful mechanic's shop to get away from their boring jobs as security guards, their loving yet eccentric and demanding families, and poor standard of living in their village pickletons. Their simple task of making the down payment to the garage owner at the village lime that night is hilariously complicated by Roma's love life and Pac's love for cannabis. The complications and laughs multiply as the best friends go to extremes to avoid violent drug men, a charity collector, crazy ex-girlfriends, and other wacky villagers. Consumed. 2014. Directed by Peter Sagnier, originally from London, this intriguing drama thriller tells the story of Johnny Richards, a prisoner who is about to get an early release due to political changes in St. Martin. Maria, the widow of the man whom Richards had killed, as she struggles to deal with what she believes to be a great injustice. Too Smart. 2014. Starring soca queen Alison Hines along with George Gill and Saran Lashley, this movie from Barbados is a psychological thriller and tells the story of a disgruntled married couple and a hitchhiker trapped in a gully during a tropical storm. Vigilante: The Crossing. 2015. Ex-con Dexter Gooding, played by Kirk Brown, is deported from the United States and returns to Barbados to discover his homeland engulfed in crime. Armed with the guilt of his past crimes and a genuine passion to see his birthplace thrive, he takes on the role of vigilante. Employing a Robin Hood style, he soon collides with Amy, a white Barbadian woman, played by Melissa Alana, who deploys a polar opposite, Martin Luther King-like approach to helping the same community. As the boiling pot of racial prejudice, passion, love and hate erupt, their lives and shared mission reach a crucial crossroad. With that, have you seen any of these Caribbean films? Are there other Caribbean feature-length films you suggest we watch? Do tell us what you think. I am Alison Goodness, with today's Did You Know?
Yes, indeed, Flavius. Did You Know? Brought to you courtesy of Slowly Jamaica, uniquely Caribbean. Flavius, have you seen any of these movies?
No, I'm not.
All right. Well, I like a few, like maybe about 3 on the list. I'm gonna check them out.
Man, let's see if we can watch. There are more, There are more.
I would assume.
Yeah.
There have to be many more. Because, you're missing out. Well, I don't know if I don't know if part of it was filmed in Jamaica. That I have to figure out. But we have like a couple movies. I think one of them they call Shatter. I know it had some minor scene in it. I don't know if any Jamaican scene in it. And there's one they call Belly. There's one named Belly as well. I
don't know about Belly. I've seen Shatter. Shatter definitely has to make and part in it. But like I said, we can't cover all of them because there are so many.
Oh, there was something I said I was going to check out on Monday, and that's about the NFL and the baseball and college football.
Okay.
No quarantine because for the 32 teams in the NFL, they said it's going to be it would be too difficult to put all 32 teams with coaches and you name the coaching staff, etc., into a bubble. Likewise for college football. On the baseball side of it, they had something, not a full quarantine, what you call it, bubble, but teams individually were doing that. So some players they had was to get them out because some players were tested positive in the baseball. Now on the college football side, they are now enforcing that when a player come off the like he's replaced off the field, he should wear a mask. He should put on a mask because the members of the coaching staff, they're wearing their mask. And they're enforcing that because college players are now being infected. One school coach wanted for his upcoming game 90,000 spectators. He wanted full capacity. Guess what? A day after the press conference, 4 players are infected. So you won't be seeing a massive crowd anytime soon. So all of this, the difficulties of getting professional teams in a bubble, it's more difficult than we thought. And these are professionals who are making monies, and every day they have a game, especially baseball. Every day there's a game. Just like basketball. The basketball did theirs and it was successful. So that's like a blueprint right there.
Yeah, they have a lot less players. Basketball have a lot players than football. Football have probably almost 50, 60 players.
Yeah.
per game.
And I remember their games is like week, 5 to 6 days apart.
Yeah.
Now,
in Jamaica, some notable doctors who have been involved in sports over the years have been advising the government to cancel all sports until 2021. That's what they are publicly advising the government to do. Because they say we cannot manage it. And if we have a bit of the country, the health system will fall. We don't have the facility, we don't have the equipment, we don't have the person to have enough people to be looking after these people. So the advice in that is wiser to just forego it and see what happens. That means they would have at least 3 months. They need to see what turns up.
I'm thinking that even football might close down to the soccer, because right now South America is playing qualifying World Cup games.
Yeah.
And I think pretty soon all of that going close down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everything going close down. As I said, I looked to England during the beginning of this whole pandemic, and whatever happened there reflect over here, and it just looked like is our domino ripple, the spread.
Yeah.
So that's it. Let's see if we can link up with our guest this morning and get the chat session going. So for those of you just joining us, welcome to the Real Stuff Podcast. And this is Franco and Flavius. So we're gonna link up Mrs. Berthia right now.
Yes.
And see what we can do. Paddy.
Mrs. Berthia Parle is considered Saint Lucia First Lady of Tourism. She is the General Manager of the Bay Gardens Beach Resort and Spa. In 2012, Berthia was appointed by the Governor-General to serve as an independent senator and elected by her peers to serve as Deputy President of the Senate. Senator Parle has been an esteemed member of the tourism industry for more than 30 years, and among her many achievements was her election as the first female president of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, CHTA. Berthia Parle is an admired tourism guru, a trendsetter and fashionista. She has judged several local and regional pageants including Miss World Local, Miss Universe, Miss Carnival Queen Show over the last 25 years. Mrs. Parle is the recipient of several awards, namely the first inductee into the Tourism Hall of Fame, CHTA Crystal Award 1998, Hotelier of the Year 1999, Saint Lucia, an honorary degree, the Associates of Science degree of Hotel and Restaurant Management from the Jamaica Western Hospitality Institute in May 2002. Twice selected among the most powerful women in travel. Awarded by Travel Agent Magazine, August 2002 and August 2003. Several other awards of appreciation around the Caribbean region, where she has given voluntarily and generously of her time and expertise out of love for her profession and for the hospitality and tourism industry. Caribbean Hotelier of the Year 2002 to 2003. Her tenure as president of the Caribbean Hotel Association ended in June 2006. Business Executive of Year April 2006. Award for continued commitment to sustainable tourism development in the Caribbean, awarded by the Caribbean Media Exchange on Sustainable Tourism, CMEX, October 2006. Appointment as Honorary Consul for Finland in 2010. Appointed Senator and Deputy President of the Senate December 29, 2011. She is committed to the sustainable tourism development of the region and has participated as a keynote speaker in several regional and international conferences. Please welcome Mrs. Berthia Parle to the Real Stuff podcast.
Morning again, Miss Parle.
Hi, good morning, and thank you very much for that wonderful introduction.
You're most welcome.
Okay.
Yes, powerful, very powerful.
Okay, I don't know about that, but if you say so, I'll be honored. Thank you.
Well, Flavors have been talking a lot about you. He has been telling me a lot about you. So I said, well...
Okay, so he knows me very well then.
Yes, let's bring her on so that the world can know.
Okay, all right.
We met in Jamaica some years ago at the Jamaica travel show.
Okay, yes, I just...
At that time, you were still the manager of Bay Gardens, but you are seemingly involved in everything else. You know, you were invited me to the opening of the cricket stadium, and then
that's correct.
We spoke about getting some artists for you for the jazz.
The Jazz Festival in Saint Lucia, right? Okay.
Yes.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you. So all these years later, you remembered that and decided that I should come on your show, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, and since that you have moved. You have just flown.
I know, but you know what? After a while, then one has to settle down, and then as your age, just comes upon you when you least expected. As you get older, there comes a time when you have to settle down and start to, mellow out. But I'm good. I'm okay.
Glad to know.
Wonderful.
Glad to know. Okay, Flavors, take it away.
Well, probably you could start by just telling us a little about Saint Lucia, and then you go into the whole tourism thing, because I think everybody wants to know about the tourism thing. You can, start way back until, or you can start now and work way back.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah,
well, as you know, right. Uh-huh.
And it's not an interview.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm at home in Saint Lucia. As you know, the whole world is affected by the coronavirus, which is rather unfortunate. Mm-hmm. But this is something that we all have to live with. Mm-hmm. As you know, tourism employs the majority of people on island. In fact, most of the smaller islands in the Caribbean, tourism is our number one industry. So you have some 13 to 15,000 people employed in the industry. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, from March this year, you had every single hotel on island closed down. Besides that, you had other businesses closed. You had other staff laid off because a number of the hotels support the majority of businesses on island. So if you have no hotels, you have no guests, then there's a decrease in the number of goods that are purchased, etc., etc. This is a vicious circle. Tourism has that impact on almost every other industry within the country. So a number of people were laid off. A lot of the businesses closed a lot earlier. Times were changed. In fact, some businesses were only open 3 days a week. Mm-hmm. Some were open half day. It was a terrible, terrible situation. Of course, our Prime Minister made arrangements with the National Commercial Bank, the National Insurance Scheme, which then decided to pay the people because a lot of them obviously monthly paid towards the NIS.
Wow,
so he got the NIS to come in, got the NIS to come in and support them. So they paid payments depending on one salary level from 500 minimum to 1,005 minimum. So whether he made 5,000 or not, he got 1,005, which in my mind was still something. Because unfortunately, in some cases, you had both husbands and wives working in the industry, and with the industry, the hotels themselves, the management level, they had to lay off some staff, and they also had to reduce salaries of the staff they kept on. So whether you were still employed or you were not employed, you got something, but it was very minimum. So this, unfortunately, has ended. And the question is, while the hotels have reopened slowly, they now have to do certain things before they can be certified to open. A number of things have to be put in place. They have to be inspected, and they have to get a certificate saying that they have been inspected and are ready to receive guests. Unfortunately, though, only overseas visitors can stay at the hotels. So a number of locals that will go to the hotels for lunch or even entertainment for these things are unable to do so because obviously you don't want the guests mingling with the locals, and a number of the locals are not I wouldn't say scared, but they very nervous about having these people come into the island and being with them. And again, when you have places like England, where the number of visitors, the virus keeps reappearing, then you're going to have a problem with people. And the U.S., Miami, especially where most of the flights originate from, coming to the island, where this is high, and you understand they have apparently it's gone up again, and hospitals are full again. So it's a very unnerving situation. I want to commend the government, the health authorities in Saint Lucia, the nurses, the doctors, who have done a really amazing job. I want to say that in spite of all of that, where you have all the deaths in all the other islands, which is unfortunate, nobody has died in Saint Lucia yet. However, we had an amazing time for the last 6 weeks where we had absolutely nobody at all on island was infected with the virus. But unfortunately now, this has changed slightly. Yeah. We think we have 2 new cases, and a number, unfortunately, we may have an island spread. A number of taxi drivers have gone in to have tests. We understand so far 290 drivers have been tested, but it's all negative. Okay. We hope and pray that it will remain negative. But that because it is a community based and it's a bus from one of the communities, the bus driver is infected. You know what that could mean, because he's carrying all these passengers and everybody. So this is rather unfortunate, and we're praying and hoping that nobody else has caught it. But Saint Lucia has managed the infection virus very, very well. And like I said, we are really, really pleased with the work that is being done by all of these agencies. They have worked together, they've come together, they've given it their all, they've done everything, they've managed this thing really, really beautifully. Unfortunately, the people that are laid off, while most hotels are beginning to hire them, the numbers coming into, I think we have about 9,000 people to date since we are reopening, which was really it was effective July 1st. Since that time, we've had about 9,000 visitors come in and go. But they stuck in their hotels. Just this month, they have opened a couple additional tours, like the Sulphur Springs. They can go on a boat trip. When they do get on the boat trip, they can't get out now. But they have to go to these places recommended by the government and by the authorities. So all in all, it's something we have to live with. I think the entire region, the entire Caribbean, we've got to continue somehow to go about our lives and our jobs and ensure that we can afford to feed our families. Although, I mean, it's the first time this has ever happened in our generation. I'm not sure when the end will be nigh. Although we hear vaccines that are somehow supposed to be out before the end of the year. But as usual, we in the Caribbean are not about to receive those vaccines. Maybe not until next year. So we've got to somehow open up our hotels and try to manage as best we can. Sure. But one of the things that we know, or we're hearing, is that tourism will never be the same, certainly for another 2 years. However, the Caribbean has a good reputation for coming back a lot quicker. But in this case, until we actually get a virus, I'm not sure what would happen, because we as locals can't go into the hotels for lunch or breakfast or for dinner like we used to before, evening entertainment. All the carnivals have been cancelled. All the major entertainment things have been cancelled. We're coming into the high season, which is really December to April, May. And again, we're not sure how many people, what the occupancies it will be. we believe we will get a few, but the people coming in have to be confined to their hotels. They really can't go out anywhere. So all in all, a very sad situation. One, I want to say that's managed very, very well here on the island by the various institutions. And the rest of the Caribbean, I just want to wish them well and to say that we know that everybody's working really hard to prevent further spread of it and to try and ensure that countries open up slowly and open back. But one of the things I want to ensure that some people, and I want to say even in Saint Lucia, stop wearing masks because as far as they're concerned, we have no virus. What are you talking about? Until recently, yeah, why should I wear this? I don't need this, you know?
True.
And I want to say for me, it was amazing the last 2 days when I looked on television at the broadcast and I realized the number of people that had it on their face masks. So again, I want to say we shouldn't wait till we have a situation where it's possible that you're likely to get this thing that you wear. You go into town, you go to the supermarket, wear your face. When you're at home, I'm sorry. When you're at home, you can remove it. But I think it's important that we are protected at all times, especially when we go downtown and we mingle with other people. But I want to say it's something that I don't think any of us ever expected or imagined or that we would ever see in our lifetime. But it has happened, and I guess we have to live with it, but do so in a healthy way, that we don't, go about infecting other people and being careful that we don't have a whole island being affected by this thing generally.
True.
Yeah.
In terms of like the travel industry in Saint Lucia, that's closed down too as well. Any flight coming out?
Well, our travel industry is open. Like I said, a number of visitors. We have to date about 9,000 visitors that have come to the island. They obviously go to the hotels, and when they go into the hotels, they must stay in their hotels.
No, I'm talking like
to do their
leaving. I'm talking like Saint Lucian leaving out of Saint Lucia.
Oh yes, yeah. The planes are coming in. I think BA, which was our largest airline, commuter airline, I think it's up to now. I think they started at 1 flight a week. I think they've increased to 4 flights a week now. And USA and the other airlines that normally fly into Saint Lucia have been flying in. So some people are going out, but Saint Lucians themselves are now afraid of going to Miami, which is an area that's where most of the flights go to, and then they go and shop or they go for health reasons or whatever. So the airlines are flying in. The airport is open, and people are coming in. Unfortunately, people coming into the island as of the 15th of October are going to have to pay to stay. So I don't expect to see that many people because the rates are not expensive, but if you confined to a week quarantine, that is still going to cost you $200.
Yeah.
And one person at 95 US times 7, that's 600 and something. If 2 people, that's 1,000 and change US. So we don't expect to see many locals, but unfortunately the locals have to go into paid quarantine. And the visitors that come in will stay at their hotels until they leave. But I'm saying some of the people, I guess, want to get out of their individual islands where they live because of they hammered in as well and can't do very much. So they come into Saint Lucia, Sandals or Bay Gardens or wherever they want to stay, and at least they have the beach which they can utilize, and they have, they stay in a different environment, which to them, of course, it's a lot better than being at home or confined to that. So it is unfortunate. Our airports are open, flights are coming in. Unfortunately, with the Liat situation, the airport, VG Airport, to George Charles Airport, is not as busy as it would have been if so many Liat flights a day. There are airlines coming in. I'm not even sure how many and how many times a day they fly in. But that is a different situation. It's affecting the Caribbean people as well. So I think most Caribbean people, probably the first time they have been hammered in and have had to stay home or stay in their island for so long without traveling to another island, either for carnival or for jazz or for, some level of entertainment or vacation or something. So they would all need the people that now travel, probably business people that have meetings or have, special sessions or have to meet certain people on the various islands. These are the Caribbean people that will be traveling now. And of course, the students. Some of them are still here because they're working via their computers. Some have gone back. again, they're not sure what's going on, when schools will be open. Some of the universities have opened in the States and so they're doing extremely well. So this is the situation as is with regards to the virus.
Yes.
Quick, one question here. How was the shutdown of Liat affected Saint Lucia?
How has the shutdown affected Saint Lucia? Well, obviously it affected Saint Lucia. From Liat. Oh, well, yes. Okay, Liat. Oh, it affected us in a terrible way because that was the only way to connect to the other islands of the Caribbean region. And without Liat, people couldn't go or travel anywhere, couldn't leave their islands to come to Saint Lucia. So that was really, 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 really one of the things I think that had a major impact on Caribbean people traveling to other islands of the Caribbean region. And they were supposed to come back, I think it was end of October. We're now in November and we haven't heard what's happening. Is it going to come back or are they new partners, new investors? What's happening? We haven't heard anything, so I'm not sure what the situation is. I know there are other airlines, smaller airlines at the party flying somehow between the islands. I'm not sure how well that is going, but I guess people have no choice. If they have to get somewhere, they have to fly and, go on what is available. So that's as far as I know. I haven't heard anything else, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you take us back now in your journey?
Oh, my journey! Wow. Well, I hope I have enough time for my journey, but it's a pretty long journey. As you know, I studied hotel and tourism management, and I had a CHTA scholarship, which I got from the Canadian government. The year I obtained the scholarship was the last year they sent students to Canada to actually study in Canada. So at the time I received the scholarship, I had to basically study in Saint Lucia. I did travel, hotel, and tourism, and that has been my life. I mean, I really should have done medicine because all my subjects at A-level and O-level were medical subjects. As everybody assumed I was going to be a doctor. But when it comes to patients and wounds and blood and that kind of stuff, I'm very, very, very afraid of it. So I decided, no, I wanted something a lot more interesting, a lot more exciting. And that was tourism. And like I said, it's my lifeblood. I love tourism. All I've done is gotten involved in tourism ventures of one kind or another. So like I said, I did that. And at the end of my training, my first job was actually the general manager. No, actually, at the end of my training, I went back to Starkenburger Caribou Hotel. That was a German-owned hotel, and that's where I started working at Starkenburger Hotel, and then I went back to join them. So I then did my course, came back to Saint Lucia, and then I got married in 1979. So I have been married for quite some time. Unfortunately, my husband died about 6 years ago, which was really a very painful experience, but he was a wonderful, wonderful man. Most people that knew him could attest to that. So we got married, and then after my marriage, I then went back. My husband worked in Bermuda a year before me, so after we got married, he took me to Bermuda with him. Unfortunately, the laws in Bermuda is that only husbands can work, wives can't work. So because I happened to know the people involved in the industry and stuff, I got a job at one of the hotels, and I worked there for a period of time as a regular housekeeper until this time. We spent 4 years in Bermuda, and then we came back to Saint Lucia, where I was interviewed for the post of general manager of the Bay Gardens Hotel. I started the Bay Gardens during the construction period until the opening. So it was quite an experience. I got to learn about construction, the needs and all that what's involved in putting a hotel together. So I did that, and then we decided, our owners decided they needed us back in Saint Lucia. So we left Bermuda, came back to Saint Lucia. My husband then opened a restaurant, and then I started working in Capone's, which is one of the most famous Italian restaurants, I think, in the whole Caribbean. It was 1920s. The colors were reminiscent of that period. You knocked on the front door and you had to say I'll send to you and let in. The food was superb, but it was a two-in-one restaurant. One side was the pizzeria and the other side was the restaurant. It was very, very successful. The kids loved it. Everybody came in for dinner, for lunches. Then we had late night after dinner. The kids would stay on and party until 2, 3, 4 in the morning and move over to the other side of the street where we had the Lime restaurant where they continued partying until such time. So we then, continued again. I continued working at the Capone's restaurant, which I opened reminiscent in the 1920s. And then my current owners of the hotel decided they were opening a hotel and they wanted me to come and manage the resort for them, the hotel for them. So when they started building, halfway through building, they decided, okay, they think it's time, they want me on board so we can look at ordering the equipment, the glassware, furnitures, all that kind of stuff. So we then opened. The hotel was actually built in almost 3 phases. Because we started off with 45 rooms, a main swimming pool, and then we expanded, added a second swimming pool to the back, another 45 rooms, and we added another very large conference room, which was really one of the largest on the island and held the most number of people. So we did that, and then we expanded again with some suites until now it's complete. And then I worked with the hotel for a number of years. We then decided to expand and build a beachfront property, which was on Wadeby Beach, which is the most popular beach on the island. An absolutely stunning and beautiful hotel, which is the Bay Gardens Beach Resort and Spa. For those of you who haven't visited it, you can visit, but I also want to say that if you want to come to Saint Lucia, once things improve and we can somehow get back to some sort of normalcy, although whatever that is, it's not going to be the normal that we know or we knew, but it's going to be a different normal. But if you can come and want to come for a holiday, if you come and you book and you stay at the hotel, you can still get an opportunity to see the beach resort because there's a shuttle bus that'll take you to the beach. So clients who stay at the hotel can enjoy the beach resort and vice versa. So you're allowed to go there and to really see the property. So then I moved over to the beach resort and wonderful service, wonderful staff, wonderful location. It did extremely well. It's a favorite from many Caribbeans, but also a lot of people from the US, the UK, Canada. We dealt with all the major tour operators in all the various islands. And I want to say the service was second to none. We were locally owned, but we were able to match our service and our ambience, everything to international standards. So I think this is what people loved about Bay Gardens. Mm-hmm. And like I said, after all of these years, some 35 years, 38 years in total in the hotel and tourism industry, I've decided it's time for me to retire, which I did 2 years ago. So I'm actually now retired, recently. But I mean, I am still, involved in my hotels. If they need them, if they're busy, they can call me anytime or whatever they need. I am there to assist them to help out in whichever way that I can. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to do so. Yeah, so that's, I shortened it as much as possible. I also then, when I worked at Bay Gardens Hotel, that was our first hotel, mm-hmm. I had the opportunity to go over to Germany. Mm-hmm. I was then sent to Germany with a group of Saint Lucians, and I was in charge of them to learn the language, because we then worked at the German-owned hotel in Saint Lucia. I don't know if you remember that. It was Caribou Hotel. It's no longer here. But then it was there, and then the majority of our clients were all Germans. So, of course, we needed people who spoke the language. Mm-hmm. They brought in Germans every year during the winter season. But then the summer season, they had to go back home and then come back again. So it meant that some of the locals had to learn German. So we went over to Germany. We had to go to school to learn it. And then we worked in the hotels as well. So that was, a very, very exciting period as well, with an opportunity to go to a different country to learn a different language. So that was something which I thought was really good that was done for us.
You did some senator work as well. You went in
Yes.
How did that go?
In Saint Lucia, that's right. I was appointed in 2011 to 2016 because the Senate terms are about 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
So I was made then an independent senator, which was 2011 to 2016. And as an independent senator, they needed somebody to be the deputy president. So it couldn't be the government side, it had to be the opposition or independent senators. So I was then chosen to also be the independent president of the Senate for the same period, 2011 to 2016. That was, I think it was good. My own honest opinion is that because there are 2 independent senators, there's 3 opposition senators and 5 elected government senators plus the speaker, that you can make a contribution. Whatever you said will be noted. But however, I don't think such a large difference is made by the independent senators, because already by virtue of your numbers, you overpowered by the 5 government senators, about 6 plus the president. So really, you can't really achieve as much as you would. So that was one of the frustrating things, I think, for the 2 independent senators, that constantly, even if we voted sometimes and we believe, it was right for us to do so, we voted with the opposition, it was still 5-5. So somebody had to break the tie, which would be the speaker, and the speaker is elected by the ruling government, the government in power, the ruling party. So it's a bit of a mismatch for me, and I think something that needs to be looked at to make it more meaningful and for it to have some balls. But it was still a good idea to be involved in it and to hear all the different issues that were faced, whether it was VAT that was hot at the time, and then some of the other things that we had to look at and we had to give our opinions on. That type of thing. But I think probably now I have seen a change in the operations of those various committees. As now, the first time ever happened, as far as I was concerned, there's such opposition to some of the government's, what I would say, some of the government's things that are put in power, things in the government actions that are really done. And I think a lot of people are beginning to question, so that is changing. They get now a lot of opposition to things that are being done or things that, they did before that required no approval. All of a sudden, then people are saying, hey, wait 1 second, what's this? No, not that fast. You have to wait. We need to examine this. We need to look at this. We need, it has to go back to the Senate. It has to go back to cabinet. Things of that nature. So things are beginning to turn, I think, like never before, which I think it's a good thing. But then I think people also need not to bring in their political colors to interfere with the issues of the state. And I think it is something that people need to look at seriously, and, it needs to be addressed.
Okay. It has been said to me once, because I did some work in the restaurant industry. It has been said to me once that is toward the hardest fields is the hotel and the restaurants. Out of the 24 hours, you spend 16 hours. If you are the owner, you're going to spend 16 hours or more getting it done the right way.
Yeah, that is so true, because I remember I worked at the hotel. I managed the hotel at night, but I also worked day. I did the accounts. I did so I worked nights. I went in at 9, 10 o'clock to about 3, 4. I went home. I had 3 hours rest, and I was back at work at 6 till 12, 1, 2, 3. If you want to deliver quality service, you have to put in the time and to do it, but you will get the rewards. Because like I said, the hotels where I worked and also the restaurants were the most popular in Saint Lucia. People loved it because of the quality of the food, the quality of the rooms, the quality of the service they received. And then, I passed that on to my staff and said to them, without our guests, we have no jobs. So we need to give them the quality of service that they rightly deserve and they're paying for. And you have to like what you do. If you don't like it, it's not going to work. I love the hotel and tourism industry.
You gotta love what you do, especially the hotel and the restaurant industry.
No, you're right. You have to have that passion for it, because if you don't, it's not going to work out. You have to really sort of see things before they happen and prepare for them. And you have to have a smiling face. Sometimes the most difficult customer comes in, but you have to have that smile, and you have to, let them know that nothing phases you. And I can tell you, I met several of these people in my line of work, and by the end of it all, we were friends, because they tried everything to be upset, to be angry, whatever kind of person they were. But once they came in by the third, fourth visit, they were wonderful. And these are people that didn't like going to restaurants, and they always had a problem with the food, or they had a problem with the person running it, or whatever. But you know me, the minute they walked in, good evening, how are you, how may I assist you, I really took care of them. And got trained my staff as well to treat people that. I want to say I had a wonderful, wonderful group of staff. And in every hotel I worked in, and every restaurant that I worked, they were truly magnificent. And they understood what it was to give service to people. And I want to thank them publicly for their cooperation and the level of service that they offered, and they did what I expected and what we expected of them. And it was truly a wonderful experience.
I want to ask you this question. While running a hotel at the same time, you were also involved as president of the Caribbean Hotel Association.
That's correct.
Other other little committee association. How did you manage to do all of this thing?
Okay, one of the things I wanted to really single out my owners, Mr. and Mrs. Desmond Destang, really for giving me the opportunity to do the job that I did. I could not have done it without them. They understood what it was, because at the time, very, very rarely, it was literally unknown, except I think the only other person I knew back then who was Hotelier of the Year and was also CHTA president was Sir Royston Hopkins, who's now deceased, God bless his soul. Because he died last year. Sorry, no, the funeral was last year or this year. Yeah, he died. Sir Royston Hopkins from Grenada.
Yeah, I met him, Spice Island,
okay. Right. So it was very, very difficult for a small hotelier to be given that kind of recognition was normally given and reserved for the larger properties, the independent guys, the guys from overseas that came over to manage the various properties. Until Sir Royston, I believe, was probably, I think he was the first. Almost the first, if not second.
He was the first and the youngest. Yes.
Yes, exactly. So I think my owners understood that it meant a lot when I became Hotelier of the Year. And I said to them, for me to do this effectively and to really have an impact, not just for me, but also for the hotels that I run, that people would know that I was chosen because of something that I did well, which meant running the hotel, etc. So I think from that time, they allowed me the time I needed to go out and manage, do my job, do it properly, but also still ensure that the hotel was managed well. So I want to say it was my owners. Without them, I could not have done what I did. But I have to tell you, I probably was out of the hotel in Saint Lucia maybe in total 8 to 9 months, traveling to all the islands. Because CHTA is an affiliation of 34 different islands. With associations in all these islands. It was never done before, but I decided I wanted to have an impact and to meet all of my hoteliers in their destinations. I met them at CHTA parties, CHTA conferences, etc., but nobody really ever visited them. And I want to say it's probably one of the best things that was ever done. I visited almost every Caribbean island except that we had some hurricanes, which affected, the impact I would have had on my ability to travel to the islands, because hoteliers obviously had issues dealing with their hotels and the island had issues, whatever. But I think I was probably the first hotelier who visited so many different islands. And I went for the annual general meetings where the media was invited. I did a lot of interviews, television interviews. I go to lots of the islands to carry articles on tourism, the contribution of tourism. I had a book, which was the first book that was ever done, The Impact of Tourism on 36 Caribbean islands, on 12 Caribbean destinations. Because when I made a presentation, I had to go to Brussels, to the Parliament, and I made a presentation. A number of Caribbean ambassadors were very upset with me because they thought their job was only to manage and to publicize or to ensure that the banana industry got all the service it needed. Their job was not to promote tourism. I said, well, I'm very sorry, but tourism is what I was there to produce, to talk about. So they were very angry and very upset. But I want to say that I got what I needed from Brussels and from the other ambassadors who understood that it was the first time ever that somebody actually came in and made a presentation on Caribbean tourism to them. Because as far as they concerned, the Caribbean tourism was owned and managed by people who had so much money. They didn't need their assistance. I thought that was wrong because the majority of hotels at the time in the Caribbean were smaller properties managed by local individuals who also needed assistance. There was a number of things that they were calling for that we needed to do to encourage them. Training was one, to encourage them, to support them so they can become better hoteliers and offer, individual services to the various people visiting our country. So that was something that I did, and I was very happy for that. I also met with the Caribbean ambassadors in Brussels and was able to launch the book as well as speak to them about it. And a number of them actually said to me they knew nothing about Caribbean tourism, not even for their own islands where they were from, because it wasn't something that was expected of them. Their main duty was at the time, I guess bananas was the main industry there was to promote and get the most they could out of the banana industry. So that was where it took me to, and I'm glad that I was able to educate a number of them, at least where tourism was concerned. And then I started seeing them at World Travel Market and various tourism trade shows, and they took an interest and wanted to learn more about it. So all in all, I thought it was something that I really wanted to do, and I can say to you that I definitely accomplished that.
Twice selected as the most powerful woman in travel.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I was laughing because I said, "You must travel."
Magazine.
Yeah, you must travel all over the world to be, the most powerful woman in travel. So.
Well, actually, not really. I was one of the top 100. That was for my functions, the things I did.
Okay.
As it related to tourism, the impact I had, the things that I was responsible for. I could just explain to you the book that we got done on the impact of travel. And when the book was released, people were shocked at the actual contribution of tourism to the economy of the Caribbean islands. It was phenomenal. So that was major. So based on all the things I did while I was president of CHTA, this is why I received that award, because nobody had done a number of things that I did during my presidency.
Is the book available to the public?
It was available, but at this point in time, I don't think it is now. But what I think, what you can probably do, you may have to call or check if the Caribbean Hotel Association, Hotel and Tourism in Miami, and if they have any there, they can probably let you have or tell you where it's available.
Okay.
But I don't think I had a copy, but I'm going to show where my copy is. So I have to try and get another copy. It's one very, very, very interesting. And I think it was, when it was released as something that exploded, everybody was talking about it because people were shocked. We knew the contribution tourism made to the economies of the Caribbean, the various Caribbean islands. But I think to actually look at the record and look at the figures, look at the numbers was astounding. So this is one of the things that I found was very, 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 very well done.
Of all the awards that you have received, which one is more satisfying to you?
Oh my God. Um, this is a very difficult thing because I received different awards for different things. I would say I was humbled, and these awards, though, while I'm happy that I was nominated for them, they don't. It shows that I did what I did well, or I had the impact on a number of people.
True.
But for me, I think all my awards, I will appreciate them, and they were all very useful, and I love them all. I can't really think of anyone that really, I can really say that had a major impact. Yeah, honestly, I think all of them would obviously my award for Caribbean Hotelier of the Year. That just encompasses my entire life in the industry, what I have done, what I have accomplished. But I mean, it was seen by people, but I got recognized for it. So that would also take in all of the other things that I did. The Crystal Award, Hotelier of the Year, for my island, Saint Lucia, and also Caribbean Hotelier of the Year. So I think all of this comes under this very same circle. But I would say I think all of my awards meant a lot to me. And I don't think there's any one, like I said, that's the only one I would say, because it covers all of the others that I have received. And because of all of these other awards, I also got that award and those after it as well. So, hey, that I think is probably the most important one.
Well said.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, I'm coming to Saint Lucia when all the pandemic is over.
Okay, well, by all means, please call me.
We should look up the most powerful woman in Saint Lucia.
Oh my God, not anymore. Okay, a lot of other women who have taken over from me and are doing an exceptional job. But I would be happy to meet you guys and to assist with. If you haven't been to Saint Lucia places, I think you should visit. You should go, whatever. But like I said, when this thing is all over, heaven knows, hopefully, I'm hoping sometime next year we can start getting a vaccine and we can begin to see changes. Although a number of hotels that had to change their structure in terms of the front desk, they had to put screens up. They had to reduce the number of seats at the restaurant, lunch, breakfast, and dinner. So it means hotels now, obviously, the income coming in will be a lot less. And I guess the staffing levels will also be less because then people have to be 6 feet away from each other. So I'm hoping by the end of next year, we should get some kind of, we should start to see changes and we can get some kind of vaccine or something to assist us. But we just have to wait and see. But I'd be happy to entertain you all in Saint Lucia.
Sure. I know the entertainment industry have been hit hard worldwide.
Oh God, right, terribly.
And some countries are scrambling to try and help entertainers.
Yeah.
So
I think one of the things here. I think one of the things here that they were asking for was for some sort of a stipend from the NIS company that was given to the hotels. I think they approached the Prime Minister, and I actually think that was done since they were also former workers, former employees of the hotel and industry, the tourism sector. I think they did receive something small, no matter what it is. And I think as the hotels reopen, I think they are hiring some because obviously the people are staying in morning, noon, night. You have to provide entertainment for them. So I think now they have started to be re-employed, but again, I think even at a lower rate because the hotels have to do so much more now for the clients that are there that they have to also watch their finances and watch their expenses. So this is an area that we feel very, very, I feel really sorry for them, although a number of them have been very creative. They've done a number of things online. They have, looked at ways of improving themselves. So, hey, but I think the hotels are beginning to rehire them slowly, but I think they are being rehired.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad, something's been done.
Yeah, some because they I agree they were really really affected, seriously affected, and some of them that was their own gig. You know, they have bank loans to pay. I mean, one of the things I must congratulate the banks. They made arrangements here for a couple of months for the people, you know, to defer their loans until at the end 6 months, or there's 3 months, then 6 months. And I understand they're looking at probably an additional 3 months. I'm not sure if that has been confirmed, because people are still finding it difficult to repay their loans since they hadn't really gone back to work full time. And if so, you know, the level of the salary that they were getting prior to that has decreased. So I think the banks will look at an additional 3 months, and I'm not sure if it's been approved yet. I guess we'll find out sooner or later.
Okay. I think one of the thing that amazed me on the brief bio that Flavia showed me was you're inductee into the Tourism Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, yes, yeah.
That is a milestone. That's like a football player, a cricketer.
Yeah, well, and I was the first inductee into Saint Lucia's Tourism Hall of Fame, and the first when we started it. Yeah, and I remember I got a call. It didn't tell me why, but I was away attending a CHTA event, and I was told they were having awards in Saint Lucia, and whatever happens, I had to get a flight. I had to be home. I must be there. I remember I got this flight. I got in late. I got to the award late. As I walked, they said inductee. I said, what's inductee in the Hall of Fame, whatever. But I mean, you know, it was a wonderful, wonderful evening. Yeah. Indeed.
That's good. That's to me is the
highlight. Thank you.
The highlight to your career. You know. Actually, your profession, because it's something that you can do if you call upon any time, even although you're retired, you know. But it's something.
Yeah, and I'm willing to help and to assist wherever I can. So anybody who really believes, hey, I want to, you know, ask a question, I may not be able to help you, but you know, if it's something to do with tourism industry, I can certainly give my advice or say, okay, I think or certainly make a recommendation as to somebody else that I think can assist you.
Okay, good.
Can you say a few words about jazz and the cricket?
Well, as you know, jazz was a wonderful event in Saint Lucia, and I think it ran for almost 20 to 21 years until the government changed. The reality is the island made no money from jazz, but what we did was we had tremendous public relations, which, as you know, is very, very valuable. And if you cost that public relations, it amounts to so much money. The thing was, it got to the level at which we think we plateaued. There couldn't have been any increase anymore because all the companies that would normally cover jazz would do it, and it kept costing us more money. I mean, a jazz festival, for example, when Amy Winehouse came down, she was paid almost $1 million. And of course, she could hardly perform on the stage because of what happened to her during her existence. So there was always a major cost for the artists coming in, and we didn't necessarily make that money from all of the various shows that we had, because there were so many tickets that had to be given to all the supporters, to the people that were involved in it, to all the laser officers and all of that. But it was a wonderful event, and I think Saint Lucia really did it and had a fabulous reputation. We got a lot of visitors coming over. I'm showing Saint Lucia jazz period was an amazing set. Everywhere was fully booked. Restaurants were full. Pigeon Island was bursting at the seams. It was certainly a wonderful idea and event. When the government came in, they obviously changed that, and they decided to have a festival a month. So, for example, there was Carnival. So our Carnival then, in essence, replaced jazz, because a lot of people from all of the islands came over. Our last Carnival was probably the best ever on the island of Saint Lucia. I think we had must have been 3,000-4,000 visitors from the Caribbean who were actually performing in individual bands. So that, and then I think the major musical event was, there was still jazz being held, but it was not as big as it was previously done. But the main jazz event was in August, when we had what they call the Rhythm and Soul. and that was good. It was a lot smaller than the previous jazz festivals, but the jazz, I would say now, was nothing like it had previously. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens when elections come, and whoever wins the election, what their vision is as it relates to jazz. But we're not sure if we're going to go back down that road. Although I can tell a number of people, visitors from the other islands, keep saying, wow, they missed it. But most people who came to Saint Lucia and for jazz were at Pigeon Island, just mingling with their friends, never really listened to what was going on the stage. It was an event to be seen at, to meet your friends and you know, to have a good time. So this is what happened, and I'm sure, I hope that over the next coming years we can have some form of Saint Lucia Jazz. We can bring people together again and have an event where everybody can see one another again.
You have me scratching my head when you say, he, me Winehouse was given $1 million. Is it $1 million Saint Lucian dollars or $1 million US dollars?
No, million US dollars.
What? Man.
yeah, and I'm telling you, she was so high she could not perform. Her backup singers had to be lined. I could be wrong, but I think it was.
I think you could have get Stevie for less than that, man.
Yeah, well,
$1 million.
I could be wrong, but I know it was $1 million. I think it was $1 million EC or US. I lost track now.
$1 million EC.
Well, I can confirm that thing, but it was $1 million.
Eh?
Yeah, exactly. Because she could hardly perform. She was falling off the stage. She was so high, she could hardly stand up.
That's a lot of dinero right there.
Yeah, the guys are well paid, I can tell you that.
Any currency, Franco, any currency is a lot.
Yes, exactly. Yep, that's right. Yeah. So this is where we at. So we're not sure what's going to happen. Again, we have to wait and see. Well, I don't know. It had to be cancelled this year. I don't think it'll happen next year, although we still have, you know, it's in May. We have the biggest thing is over. It depends on who wins the election, what they intend to do, and et cetera.
Yeah. So your jazz festival, the jazz festival usually be in May, and then the carnival is in July, right?
Yes, right. Carnival is in July. Yeah, but then the new government had August as the main month for a huge reggae festival, which is part of the jazz festival.
Wow.
The new jazz festival.
Oh, the new jazz festival in August. Okay.
Yeah. But it was still a jazz festival in May. But it was a smaller event, wasn't as big and stuff as the former events that we all knew and loved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Parle, thank you very much today for taking time
well, I
out.
hope it was enlightening. I hope I was able to give some information to your listeners. Or, and it was a pleasure. And thanks for including me in your list of persons. So where can I see the show, or where can people be listening? Is it on radio, or what is it on?
It's on YouTube, and it's available also on the other podcast platform like Apple Pod, Google, Spotify, TuneIn.
All right, wow, you guys are big.
Yes, Stitcher. But this one now is being broadcast live and direct on YouTube channel.
Okay.
So everyone is listening and viewing live.
Okay. And you got some pictures that you're happy with? Because I don't even know what she sent you. She sent me some of what she sent you. So you had enough pictures to show? Because my things are all filed away. I was trying to find additional stuff, and I had a hard time.
We have old and we have new pictures of you.
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for including me, and I hope I was able to entertain your listening audience and give them enough information so they are aware of what I've done and who I am, and et cetera, et cetera.
It was accepted. Accepted.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for including me.
And say hi to all Saint Lucians down there for us.
Yeah.
I will do that, and when you do come to Saint Lucia, please call me. You have my contact details. I'd be happy to entertain you guys.
We definitely will be looking you up.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
Okay, and my friend, I hope we'll meet again, okay? Soon.
Yeah, I am hoping so too.
Okay, all right.
Okay, you have a wonderful
I just send you a photo on WhatsApp so you can look at that.
Okay, I will. All right,
Okay,
take care. All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
pleasant day.
bye-bye.
And remember Peter.
Okay, Peter. Okay, not a problem. I will. All right,
Okay,
take
good.
care.
All right.
Ciao.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Bye.
Yes, Flavius. So that was our special guest, my viewers and my listeners this morning, Miss Berthia
Parle, First Lady of Tourism in the Caribbean.
Yep. So we're gonna bring in some music, and then Flavius and I will come back and wrap it up.
Tomorrow is another day. It's alright. It's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away. Life of a wave will carry you down when the money in the bank gets shorter and the bills are coming and you're caught in between the devil and the deep blue water. I know say that when you come home my yard and the people them I look them sober. So you do what you can cause a man is just a man and you not make the people them sober. And you pray to the Father when this tribulation I go in, but remember Jonah in the belly of the whale and Daniel in the lion's den. It's alright, it's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away. I say time of a wait to test your faith, so you got to have enough endurance. One day at a time, just keep on trying, cause time carry no insurance. No matter how the situation hard, things can only get better. Just have some faith, everything will go great, cause nothing never lasts forever. And you pray to the Father when this tribulation I go in, but remember Jonah in the belly of the whale and Daniel in the lion's den. It's alright, it's okay. Just hang on a little bit longer, cause tomorrow is another day. It's alright, it's okay. Just stand firm in the face of adversity and watch them fade away.
Yes, indeed. It's all right. It's okay. The music of Mr. Wayne Harmon. Today has been a special day, and I hope you're enjoying your day. But we have more music coming up for you, and I couldn't leave without playing this one this morning. So listen to this one from Miss Parle.
I wish that you were the man in my life. I would like to take you to my home to be with me forever. I really love you, baby. Really love you, baby. Want you forever. Really love you, baby. Really want you, baby. I wish that you were the man in my life. I would like to take you to my home to be with me forever. I really love you, baby. Really love you, baby. Want you forever. Really love you, baby. Really want you, baby. Love I will give you is so powerful, so special. On
Under your skin it will flow through your vein. My love's insane. This love I give, I just can't stop. I just can't stop. It's in your face, even when you turn your back. And just like a magnifying glass, the heat that I transmit will melt your heart. Oh, I wish that you were the man in my life. I would like to take you to my home to be with me forever and ever. Really love you, baby. Really love you, want you forever and ever. Really want you, baby. Really want you, baby. Whoa, whoa. Ooh, forever and ever. Yeah, yeah. I know you're wondering why my love is so strong. It's 'cause I see something in you pushing me on. The day you try to chase my love away is when you know my love was meant to stay.
Well, this one is a bombshell.
This love I give, I just
Want you forever, Miss Parle. The music is available on CD Baby, Spotify, and Apple Music. So run go get your copy. Ain't gonna give you no more. Run go get your copy. So Flavius,
Yes, sir.
what do you have to say before we get out of here?
Well, I've been enjoying our guests this week. Really enjoying them, you know. And I hope the listeners are also enjoying them
I should think so. I should think so.
as we travel around the Caribbean. The Caribbean, I mean, we have done so well.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to me and you listen, it's like, you know, it's like nothing happens in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things happen in the Caribbean, and you have a lot of people who are doing it extremely well, and who have done it extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
People are flying really high,
Yeah.
you know? And these are some of the people that we are trying to bring forward. Also, you can listen to them, you can learn from them, you can, you know, enjoy them and their achievements. And for the younger people, you get an idea where you can go. Because she started out wanting to be, you know, because of the grammar school situation, the doctor, lawyer, teacher, policeman syndrome. But she turned to tourism. She found it much nicer. I myself find tourism to be a very, very nice and rewarding profession. I enjoy it immensely. And one thing I know, you meet some really nice people. And it's because everybody aiming to play with their customers and to have good customer service skills and all that. So, you know, it's nice dealing with them, nice meeting with them. And I've been blessed that I have met quite a few. So I really love tourism. We do other things, but tourism really, you know, really nice. As far as the COVID is concerned, everywhere is going back into lockdown. And that is not good news. So we need to adhere to the protocol and see how we can survive, because we have to survive. Don't put your mind on vaccines and all that. That will come. But you have to survive now to be able to use the vaccine. So you have to do what you have to do now to keep going, to survive. Now, there are too many deaths. Too many deaths on a daily basis. Too many. Everywhere. Everywhere. I'm very glad that Saint Lucia is, is really managing well, just like Grenada. But it's all about discipline. Discipline is the key. You need to follow the protocol and be completely disciplined. And you have to have respect for everybody. Everybody. And we can survive. We will survive. So, Sanko, what say you?
Well, the only thing I have to say, that I kind of feel sorry for the children going back to school under this condition. And I can say, government, now is the time for you to play your role, because you take taxpayers' money, you take our tax dollars, and you spend it just about on everything. And when we have, there was a documentary I was watching during the pandemic back in May, and it was in Asia. And this Asian doctor said that Asians prepare for disaster. The Western world don't prepare for none of this. So we are able to deal with it and can have it under control. And it make you wonder why. When because people go and say, oh, you shouldn't say that, and but yes, he said it, and it is true. It has been proven. The Western world cannot handle disaster, and it's the government from the Western world that cannot handle disaster. You know why? Because they're a bunch of greedy ass, mother, whatever you want to call them, and I'm upset with that. They're all greedy. All they want is money, money, money. And they don't think about people, health. You understand me? Just money. And without people, you can't make money. Capitalism cannot function without the poor. So when you get taxpayers' money, spend it wisely. Spend it on the people, because without the people, your machinery cannot function. So, that's all I have to say today. Until next time, take care of yourself, my people, your loved ones. And remember, prayer changes things. Regardless of what religion you belong to, you must pray and continue to pray. We're going to have to Fina to take us out. Not that one. We don't want budget today. As a matter of fact, we should have run with it before Tafina take us out.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
Next time.
All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer so rough. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you knew good for me. That's why me know I said me if it could flee. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi hide like a thief in the night. Me I fi get out of sight. Me I fi take away myself. I fi take away myself. I have to utilize I wings. Shorty I clean where I ease. I said, yeah, I find you very hard to resist. But this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, I play but soon you're gonna see the light of day. Just relax, don't move an inch. I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I feel take away myself. May I feel hide like a thief in the night. May I forget out of sight. May I feel take away myself. Take away myself. I have to utilize I breathe. Show the eye a clean pair of heels. I say, yeah, yeah. Been there, done that, don't need it again, yeah. I'm not a masochist who won't play your game, yeah. To all you move, you off me way to the core. Sayonara, the hot girl gone through the door. Take away ourselves.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless. Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.